Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a really important one, Kathryn Stockett's landmark novel, The Help. This is a powerful story that uncovers the hidden lives and unheard voices of Black maids in 1960s Mississippi.
And the whole story really centers on that very question. In a world built on secrets, what is the actual price of telling the truth? It's a story where speaking out isn't just brave, it's a life-threatening act of rebellion set against the turbulent backdrop of the American South.
All right, let's set the scene. Our story begins in Jackson, Mississippi, during the early 1960s. And this is a town that's absolutely governed by strict, unspoken, and often cruel rules of segregation. What's so wild is that inside the very same homes, you have these two completely different realities existing side by side. For the white employers, life is all about bridge clubs, charity benefits, and managing the staff. But for the maids, life is about raising other people's children while being forced to navigate segregation and use separate facilities for everything. And if you need one quote to capture the mindset of the era, this is it. This idea comes from the town's leading socialite, Hilly Holbrook. She wasn't just suggesting this. She was on a crusade to legislate prejudice right into the home. It's this kind of chilling, casual cruelty that really sets the stage for our story. So this oppressive environment is about to get a serious shakeup. And it all starts with a catalyst for change, a young woman who doesn't quite fit in, Eugenia Skeeter Phelan. Skeeter is fresh out of college. She's an aspiring writer, and an editor in New York tells her to write about something she's passionate about. Her big idea? To secretly interview the maids and tell their stories. Now, you've got to understand, this wasn't just controversial. In 1960s Mississippi, this was a profoundly dangerous plan for absolutely everyone involved. And this quote from Skeeter just nails her motivation. She sees this suffocating silence covering her whole town, a world of secrets and things you just don't say out loud. And she's determined to break it, to give a voice to the women who have seen everything but have been allowed to say nothing. But an idea like this is totally worthless without people who are brave enough to participate. Skeeter needed someone to be the very first person to speak, the first one to break that silence. That first voice belongs to Abilene Clark. She's a wise, kind-hearted maid who's raising her 17th white child, May Mobley. She sees the poison of racism seeping into this little girl she loves, and that bitter seed of injustice is what finally pushes her to take an enormous risk and trust Skeeter. And then you have the unforgettable Minnie Jackson. She is known as the best cook in town, but she has a sharp tongue that is constantly getting her into trouble. Her defiance is both her greatest strength and her biggest weakness, making her a powerful ally, but also a huge risk to the project. So what starts with Abilene's quiet courage just slowly starts to build. After Minnie gets fired by Hilly Holbrook, she joins too. But the real turning point comes when another maid, Yule May, is brutally punished for a very small crime. Her fate sends a shockwave through the community, and suddenly 11 more maids decide the risk of speaking out is worth it. The consequences are, well, explosive. Their stories get compiled into a book titled Help, and it's published anonymously. But when it arrives in Jackson, it lands like an absolute bombshell. And to really get the immense courage this took, you have to look at the context. This was not happening in a vacuum. The interviews started in 1962. Just a year later, right there in Jackson, civil rights leader Medgar Evers was assassinated. They were sharing their truths during one of the most volatile periods of the entire civil rights movement. So yeah, the book sets the town on fire. The white employers read these stories about an anonymous southern town, and the details start to feel disturbingly familiar. Hilly Holbrook, of course, leads the charge, desperate to figure out who betrayed their secrets so she can punish them. So what's the ultimate lesson from this incredible story? What's the core message that still resonates all these years later? Ultimately, the book's entire message can be boiled down to this simple but revolutionary phrase that Abilene whispers to little May Mobley. In a world that's determined to teach people they are inferior, Abilene plants a seed of self-worth. It is a profound act of love and resistance. And that's the final lesson here. Storytelling itself becomes an act of rebellion. By sharing their experiences, these women reclaim their own humanity. Their words become weapons against prejudice, capable of changing hearts and minds, one reader at a time. All right, in our final analysis, let's break down exactly why this novel continues to be so impactful.
So here are the core details. The title is The Help, author Kathryn Stockett. It's historical fiction published back in 2009. And the main idea is all about how the shared stories of Black maids in 1960s Mississippi challenged the racial injustices they faced every single day.
So what's our take? We think The Help is essential reading. It's just a masterclass in developing characters who feel real, flawed, and absolutely heroic. It forces all of us to confront an uncomfortable past through a story of friendship, courage, and the incredible power of the human voice. For its unforgettable characters, its powerful storytelling, and its lasting cultural impact, we are giving The Help a final grade of 9 out of 10.
And if this story resonated with you and you want to explore some similar themes, we highly recommend you check out The Color Purple by Alice Walker and The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd.
You know, the book really leaves us with this lingering question that's still so relevant today. Whose stories are we still not hearing? What other hidden voices from history deserve to finally be heard? To explore more stories that give voice to the unheard, make sure you follow, share, and subscribe to The Explainer. Thanks for watching.